This is Scott Condit for The Armory Life. Viridian Weapon Technologies recently invited me and a group of firearms community members out to a live fire range demo that they set up in my neck of the woods out in the Arizona desert. For those not familiar, Viridian is primarily an optics manufacturer that specializes in green dot optics, lasers, and other advanced weapons-mounted technologies, such as weapon-mounted video capture devices. Never one to turn down the opportunity to shoot some free ammo and to take a sneak peek at new gear and hang out with friends, I drove out to the event and spent the day talking a bit with the Viridian team about their latest releases. Now I got to work firsthand with their full line of diverse optics at the demo across a number of firearms platforms. I particularly enjoyed shooting the Echelon pistol that they had at the event with their RFX 25 on it, and was particularly excited to receive 5 of their RFX Reflex optics to do work with independently after the event. I was curious how each would pair with the Echelon in a side-by-side comparison. Since the release of Springfield Armory's Echelon, it's quickly become one of my favorite pistols to shoot with, bar none. One of the most unique aspects of the pistol that I believe made it a perfect fit for this roundup with the Viridian optics is because of its innovative variable interface system. This unique optics mounting system essentially allows shooters to easily and quickly utilize most modern popular reflex sights without the need for adapter plates. The way it works, in a nutshell, is that the Echelon's variable interface system employs pre-drilled screw holes within the slide cut and also utilizes sets of self-locking pins that accommodate the mounting hole patterns of popular red dots to securely fix the optic to the slide. The variable interface system works directly with the Trijicon RMR, Loophole Delta Point Pro, and Shield Footprint. Additionally, Springfield does offer plate systems for the Aimpoint Acro and Dr. footprints as well, as those two footprints do require a plate. The full spread of Viridian optics I'd be working with for this roundup's purpose include the RFX 11, 15, 25, 35, and 44. These units run the gamut in terms of form factor, from one of Viridian's smallest form pistol RFX optics, the RFX 11, to the larger format fully enclosed emitter design, the RFX 44. Now I'm going to relay the basic specs for each optic in the line, but the areas of focus for my roundup on this one will be to provide general first impressions and focus on the core aspects of ease of mounting, housing design, window size and optical clarity, brightness and sharpness of that dot, and the overall performance during casual range testing. Let's get into it. First up, I tested out the RFX 11. Unboxing it, I was surprised with just how small this thing is. It's very compact. My initial impression was that it's definitely a contender in terms of form factor for subcompact or micro-compact CCWs. Candidly, because of its size, I would not instinctively elect to put this optic on a full-size pistol like the Echelon. That said, I was curious to see how it would perform when I was shooting with this pairing, if only for the sake of it. Now, the high-strength thermo-molded polymer-housed RFX 11 mounted easily and natively directly to the Echelon using its Shield RMSC footprint, and it sits nice and low on the slide, but not so low that you lose co-witness capability. Its sleek and durable housing design looks great, and it weighs a mere 4 ounces. It's one of the lightest reflex sights on the market, and it's barely noticeable when it's mounted on the Echelon's full-sized frame. The 16mm by 22mm window's clear and would be ample if it were on a subcompact or micro-compact pistol, but on the Echelon I couldn't help but feel that it provided less of a window than I personally prefer when it comes to reflex sights for a gun this size. Now, my first shots of the day with it were accurate and easy after getting it dialed in. However, it was a bit of a challenge to reacquire my sight picture during rapid follow-up shots. Where it shines, quite literally, is the extremely vibrant and crisp green 3 MOA dot. The instant on and auto shutoff features and the ambient light sensor are also impressive features to be included in such a small package. I'll say I was impressed with the optic in general, and again, I believe it would be a great fit on a Hellcat or even a Hellcat Pro. Stepping up in size, the RFX 15 was installed atop the Echelon with ease. The Shield footprint allowed for direct mounting to the slide. I really like the low profile fit with the direct mount to the Echelon though. This optic features a 3 MOA dot as well, and a 17 by 24mm viewing window. It also features high-grade aluminum alloy body, making it extremely durable, but also lightweight. The RFX 15 includes 8 visible brightness settings and 2 night vision brightness settings, which are controlled with the rubberized and tactile positive brightness on the left side of the optic. Shooting with the RFX 15 once I dialed it in with easy to adjust windage and elevation controls was comfortable and intuitive. The size of the window and exceptional clarity made acquiring the green dot extremely easy. I detected no clarity issues or blooming even at higher brightness settings during daytime outdoor shooting. Overall, I felt like this optic was really well suited for the Echelon, and I'd recommend it. The RFX 25 was next up. In order to mount this optic, I used the Springfield Armory Doctor Plate Adapter. Although nominal, the plate adapter did add a small bit of height to the overall placement of the optic, as opposed to the low-profile direct mount that the previous two optics afforded. I would have to say this diminished the appeal just a little bit for me as far as the RFX 25 being an optimal pairing with the Echelon. However, I did enjoy the slightly larger 20 by 28mm window size and the overall contouring and shape of the high-strength aluminum housing. It looks really slick. The clear, distortion-free window made the extremely vibrant green dot easy to acquire during various range drills. This model also features the must-have tech that I insist on having in any of my Reflex optics nowadays, such as that instant on and auto shut-off features, and it also has a respectable IPX6 waterproof rating. The next optic I put on the Echelon was the RFX 35. The RFX 35 utilizes the RMR footprint, which directly mounts to the Echelon. Out of all the optics provided to me for this roundup, I believe out of the box that the RFX 35 was my favorite in terms of form factor. With a 22 by 26mm objective lens, the large circular style window within the aluminum housing just felt optimal out of the group of these optics for me. I dialed this one in after directly mounting it and was not disappointed. The optics design and housing contours nicely to the frame of the Echelon and looks great on the gun. The 3 MOA dot was crisp, clean, and easy to acquire, as all the other models, but I really enjoyed the window that it lived within on the RFX 35. It also, of course, has the auto-on and auto-off features that check the tech boxes for me and help me conserve battery life when not in use. Out of the open emitter designs being reviewed in the lineup, I would have to say that the RFX 35 was my favorite. Lastly, the RFX 44. Now, the RFX 44 was the only closed emitter optic in the Viridian line that I worked with for this roundup. I was eager to see the difference during a course of training between the enclosed design versus 4 of its much smaller form factor open emitter counterparts. Viridian did a super solid job on the overall form factor and design by actually decreasing the footprint of the unit by including a top-loading battery compartment and situating the internal electronics within the top of the unit versus jamming them into the side or the bottom. This design consideration also lowers the window of the unit, allowing for better co-witnessing capability with the irons. The ample 5 MOA green dot is also shielded by the enclosed emitter design from dust and debris. Basically, closed emitters mitigate the chances of dust, moisture, and other gunk from being able to obstruct the LED from emitting light onto the glass. This makes closed emitter designs a more rugged option for adverse conditions. The multi-coated glass on the RFX 44 was also crystal clear, and the green dot is super vibrant, clean, and clear across brightness settings. This unit includes 10 brightness settings, which are 8 visible and 2 night vision settings, and the RFX 44 also features audible and tactile adjustments to control 90 MOA of elevation adjustment and 60 MOA of windage. All in all, shooting with the unit at the range was enjoyable, and I can understand why a good degree of shooters prefer them. In conclusion for this roundup, I believe Viridian has developed a wide array of feature-rich optics for pistol shooters. I'm a firm believer that gear selection is highly personal and requires time and experimentation to find what works best for each individual. What works for one may not suit another. I really appreciated the similarities and differences between each of Viridian's RFX pistol optics in this roundup, and realized during my range session that I enjoyed aspects of each. My recommendation when it comes to selecting an optic for your firearm, whether it's your EDC, range plinker, or your precision gun, is that you just have to try options. Take them for a test drive if possible, and see what suits your eyeballs. Spend time experimenting, put them through your paces, and work them hard to make sure they'll hold up in situations that really count. The technology is always evolving, and with a pistol like the Echelon, it's never been easier to try numerous optics options and stay on top of the trends. Stay safe out there, shoot straight, and I'll see you on the next one.